Hi, afternoon. How are you doing? Oh, ow! I just put my finger in something. A little pin on the other side of the board, of the ironing board. How are you all doing? So, it's beautiful out there. It's really sunny. -4 coming to work in the car this morning. I should really have walked, but I'm still not very good at getting up and moving and getting in here. So I'm working on it. I have done it once this year. I don't live very far from the shop. It's really bad that I don't. So we are back making the Vanity Case. Okay, hopefully a better version of this. I'm really pleased with how it's going so far. My innards has I used the machine to sew it on, so my binding at the bottom to cover my raw edges is really good. So I'm really happy about that, although I noticed that I've got a bit of, it'll need trimming. It needs a haircut, really, a bit like me. Look at my fringe. So we are putting the rest of it together today. So without too much further ado, now I'm going to write a pattern for this. Okay, I've already chosen the fabric for the pattern. I love it. This one I've made out of 2 fat quarters. The next one I think I can use it. It's going to need a fat quarter of the inside, but I'm going to use a long quarter and a 10-inch. So yeah, so watch this space. So we need to sort our zips out, do a hinge, which I think I know what I'm doing, put a handle on it, and put some binding and put it all together. Okay, all right, you with me? Okay, so who are we seeing today? Where's go up. There's Kate and Marilyn. Hiya, how are you? And Linda, Melba, Carol. Oh, yours is looking fab, Carol. Really fab. It makes me very delighted when people do my patterns that I mess around with. I've got one of the ones going on to Hochanda is a butterfly block, which I sent out in the subscription box, and I know nobody's done it because there's a missing bit in the pattern and nobody's told me about it, so I know nobody's done that one, but I quite like it, so your loss, not mine. Right, okay, so we're going to start with prepping the zips. Okay, no heating or hot water. Angela, we had the same this morning. I woke up and thought, blimey, it's cold, or words to that effect. And Dave came in and said, I need to go up in the attic. And we get like a low water pressure, and we just add water to the boiler and it all starts again. So I think when it gets really cold, sometimes it does. You're waiting for the pattern. Sweet. You made a butterfly cushion. How come you didn't tell me there was a bit missing in the pattern? I'm following the pattern because I haven't made it for a while, and I'm thinking, well, where's that bit? And there's a little white bit. I mean, it's there on the pictures. It's just not explained. So I'm going to have to rejig that. Right. Okay. Hiya, Karen. How are you? Sunny day in George. Oh, it is cold. It was -4 this morning. Okay. Hiya. You're starting your gonk style patchwork quilt. Matching sock slippers. I love a sock slipper. Right, where are we going? Over here. Right, so you can see I've got all my bits all sort of here. I'm doing 2 zips because I don't have a double zipper thing. So in order to use the 2 zips, we want them to butt up to each other like that, okay, at the front. So we want them to butt up like this. Hopefully a little bit better than that, but we don't want this bit here in the way. So a little bit hand sewing. I know you lot don't like hand sewing, but it really is just a few stitches. So I've already put a knot in the end. You're going to take this bit and you're going to fold it back. And you want to make sure that it's not covering your zipper in any way. Okay, so you're going to sew from the back. I'm going to put my needle in the curve there, and then I'm going to just put a couple of running stitches through like that. Hopefully all this is going to be covered by binding, so you're not going to see it. Okay, and then back like that. I've used black so you can't see it, even if it does show. And then I'm just going to put a few in there, like that. Hold it all down, just chop it off. And you can do the neat, you can over sew it or anything. Right, so we have those. Now these, you can see I've already marked my quarters, okay? So you want this to be sitting at this point, okay? We want our zips to sit at this point here, okay? So I took it around, worked out where I would sew a hinge. Now my hinge on this one is quite small because I have bigger zips. So it will depend on your zips as to how big your hinge is. So I'm using these zips. I've marked on here on my on the inside where I would sew the hinge on here. Okay, I want to miss this bit. So I'm going to put the hinge in there. All right. So I then measured from there to there, which was 2 inches. So I need a hinge of 4 inches in order for it to interlock the pair of them. Okay. So you need 2 pieces of 4 inches. Now that is 4 inches wide. Okay. And your zip is 1 inch wide, so I'm just going to make it 1.5 inches or so, 1.5 inches, and I want 2 of them. No, I'm going to make it 2 inches because I'm going to throw it away anyway, what's left. So I've turned it over so that I don't cut that like that. Okay, so I've got 2 pieces of hinge. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one on this side and one on that side. Okay, so I'm going to bring it down so that they're level. I know that that is level where the where the stopper is. Okay, so I know that I can't sew too close to that. Okay, and I'm going to put my 1/4 inch in there and sew those 2 together. Now I'm lucky I'm using double-sided, you know, a plain, so it's the same colour on each side. But if you're using a pattern, you want this to be right sides together, okay, because we're going to flip it out. Right, so what am I doing? I'm going to go and do a 1/4 inch over here. You think the half is the problem. Right, so I'm just going to sew this on here. So we want to bring that down, and I'm going to go across here, and it's catching like that. Okay. So that now That now flips out like that. Okay, so that's going to go there. Now the other zip is going to make sure that you've got both zip pulls upwards. This is going to go in here, in there. So you're going to put this right sides with that. No, you're not. You're going to take that one and put it right sides with that. Again, pull it down to the stopper, and I'm going to sew that, but only the one. Okay, only the one, and then we're going to do some higgery jiggery, and hopefully I'll be able to remember. Now you want to make sure those zips are level. Okay, so that you're sewing it in the right place. Okay. Oh, so we're gonna I don't know about you, but my buttocks are so tight, hoping that I'm not going to hit that metal piece. Right, so where am I going? To there. So I've sewn that in there, not very well, but you're not going to see it. See, there's my hinge. Now this one, I've only watched this. I've watched it and not tried it. Okay, so this one, we want this to end up there. Okay, but that's going to be really hard to sew like that. So you're going to take this, and I think what you do is you take it and put it right sides together with your hinge fabric, sandwiching your zip. Okay, so we're going to sew. So I've just twisted it. I've taken it around and I'm putting it right sides together like that. Okay, now keep your fingers crossed and your toes and clench your buttocks. See now, Jean, if you just walked in on that clench your buttocks bit, you're really missing. You're going to wonder what you missed. Okay, just trying to make sure this is all level, and we're not going to there we go. So where are we? 3. Now I'm just going to trim off a little bit of this. You could leave it in, I suppose, for stability, but I'm just going to trim a bit off there. Should I have checked first? Maybe. So we're just going to turn it out. Oh, look at that! The zips around the right way. My hinge is in place. It's not perfect, but it's pretty damn good. I think the bit that's not perfect is my sewing, but I'm going to cut all that off anyway. So now we're going to trim that down. Trim that down almost in line with the zip. Okay, in line with the zip, like that. Okay, and we have the hinge. I hope you're all at home clapping your hands. That was pretty darn amazing for it to work the first time. There we go. Well, that's not very straight, is it, Sarah Jane? Let's trim that bit off there. That's when I find out that my I didn't change the camera and you missed it all. Right, okay. So we don't need those. We have a hinge. We have our zip is all ready. What we're going to do is we're going to work out half, where the half is on here. Okay. And we're going to put these, we're going to put it so that the back of the zip is against the inside of fabric, okay? And we're just going to clip all of this in place like that. Now you could do this next 2 steps all in one go, but I want it to go right. So I'm going to put the zip in and then I'm going to put my binding in. Okay, so it's, oh look, it's not quite big enough. Stretch it. We're going to stretch it into place. Try and give us more. Yeah, didn't reach, did it? I think I should have cut the hinge at 4.5 because I've lost 1/4 of an inch. Yes, it should have been 4.5. Did I write that down? No, I didn't. So I'm missing. I'm going to have a gap here, which I didn't want, but it'll be covered. It's not like I'm going to leave anything raw, but I should have done my hinge at 4.5. So when you measure it, add a bit. All right, make sure you add a bit in there. Okay, so we're going to go over to the sewing machine and I'm just going to pretty much baste that into place. Okay, so if I can. If you want it stretched a bit, you could start here, sew that way, and then sew that way. But we're gonna hope that that's going to be in place. Okay, yeah, look, I'm about 1 inch out, so it needed, my hinge needed to be bigger. But I haven't got the fabric with me, so we're going to deal with it like this. Okay. I thought I heard something, Jean. I wasn't sure though. So we're going in here and I'm going to do it from this side because I want to see the zip. You're basting it in place. So you just need to put the edge in. Okay, so we're just going along the edge. The binding is going to go on top of this. Okay, let's make sure. More fingers. Now, I've seen some people use a stiletto, not the shoe, a pointy stick to do all this. I always wonder whether they're the people that have had their fingers caught when they were sewing. So we're coming along here. Now you could make this hinge so that it matches the outside fabric on one side and the inside fabric on the other, but remember this, we're going to lift this up so that the zip, so this would have to be your outside fabric. The bit that you're looking at would have to be the outside fabric because that's the bit that's going to end up on the outside. I've chosen to do it in the same colour as my binding, expecting that to all disappear in there. Now I'm basting this in place. I mean, you could do this bit by hand if you wanted to, if you're not allergic to hand sewing. If you're a bit funny about zips, it's always best to baste them in place in the first place, because then when you actually come to do the proper sewing, you're not fighting with your pins or your clips or anything. caught. Okay. Right. Okay. That's only just caught there. So I have put my zip in place there. Now we're going to take our binding. And we are going to put it... See, I've already put a thing in because this is the second lot of binding I've had out of a fat quarter, so it's not going to be long enough. Your first 2 strips from a fat quarter folded in half into the 45 degrees, your first 2 inch that comes out is going to be big enough to go around, but the second one is not quite big enough, so we're going to give ourselves that little bit of thing. We are just folding it in half and ironing. Fold it in half, long sides together, like that, and we're going to use it as the double fold like we did on the binding on the bottom piece, like that. There we go, like that. Oop. Just done that over my thing. Right, so I'm going to start it at the back. Okay, I want my my crease to be here. I want it to come together here. So we're actually going to give ourselves a bit of play by there. Which way am I going to go? It's going to go in that way, so I've got to go that way, haven't I? So I want my crease to be there. So I've given myself enough that I've got I can play with. Okay, there, and then we're going to start a bit further over. Let's bring the clips over here, and I'm going to start about there. Now I'm not going to clip it all the way around because it does tend to move. I really didn't get that hinge right at all, but there you go. Never mind. Move on. If I was at home, I'd have unpicked all that and made a bigger hinge because I've got too big a gap here now. Right, so we're going to put this in place. Now, I'm going to do it a 1/4 of an inch because I've got the 1/4 of an inch foot on. You could put your zip foot on. You want the zip to be free flowing, okay? You want to be able to, you know, for me, it was a bit close there where I've sewn it down. So we're going to, mind you, I did it as a bias binding there, you know, the double folded and folded into the middle, and I don't like the finish, so we're going to give it a go on this. Okay, so I'm going to do it a 1/4 of an inch all the way round, and I'll show you when I come back to the other end. Okay, yes, you could use one big zip, no reason why not. You still need that hingy bit, I think, otherwise you're going to unzip your what's it called, off, your lid off. Okay, so we are putting the foot down, and I'm running the side of this foot along the edge of my zip, okay, rather than the 1/4 inch foot. So it's not quite 1/4 of an inch, but we're going to come round here all the way down. When we get to this part a bit further on, I'm going to open the zip. Okay, so I want to open the zip here and get it past. And we're going to open the zip on this side as well. just coming along here. It's tempting to move it when you get to the bit without a zip, but try not to change your depth of sewing. I'm using my fingers to feel where the zip is to make sure that I'm not taking it out of the way. Okay. Unfortunately, I've got my seam in the middle. Right, I've got to here now, so I'm going to shut this zip up again and get the zippy bit out of the way. This is where having little hands is definitely a bonus. Okay, where are we? We started around here. And I'm going to get to there. I'm going to give myself that bit of, just give it a, you're going to hide all this now, okay? All this will be hidden when you turn it over. So where are we? 3. So we're now at this point where I want it to meet here, okay? So I'm going to fold this bit back here, right, like that. Fold that back there. I'm going to take this in, and I'm going to fold this bit back so that it meets it there. I'm going to open these out and put right sides together on that line. Okay, I think that's right. So I want them right sides together on that line. Now you can see why you're giving yourself a lot of play here. Okay, so they're on that line there. Now I'm just going to sew on that line. Okay, if I can see the line. So we've been watching Bad Sisters on the telly. It's on Apple, I think. And we've got one episode to go, and it was getting late last night, and he turned the telly off and said, right, it's time for bed. 1 episode, and we still don't know who's done it. You know, we've had, oh, it's not done very well. I mean, one of the things that you could do is put this in place, and then decide to put it in place, pin it all in, do this bit, and then, is that right? It's not right, is it? No, it's not right. It's not right, sir. You have to do it so that these bits are both together, don't you? It's all very well just putting it together like that. So yes, so this Bad Sisters is really, really good. It's Irish, set in Ireland, and we were 1 episode from the end, and we still don't know who's done it. They've left it so that it's so open. Fangs. Yeah, no, we don't. But it's worth having a look Jean, we will have a look. So they're called Thangs. So we could do with having a look for them. Now I think that's probably going to be a lot better, Sarah Jane. Like that. And we're still going to sew on that crease, but I've put them right sides together going in the same direction. And we'll give it a go now. I think that's probably going to fit better. Sarah said, is it going to take 20 minutes? No. Because I've got to unpick it half the time. This butterfly block that I was doing, I kept putting the altered bit of the block on the wrong side. I can't tell you how many times I went through it. Okay. That's better. It's better, look. It's going to fit. I think it's too long now. Is it going to be too long? Chop those bits off because I know it's not too short. And fold it all back up. Oh no, it'd be perfect. It'd be fine. We'll get that bit in place. So I'm going to take that back up to the machine and just button it up now. Okay, so where am I? Still running it alongside the zip. I'm trying not to change the angle of my dangle. The space between where the zip is. Bit. So there we go. Right. So we now have this in place. This now needs to be turned over like that, all the way round, and I've got to go all round it again. Okay, I'm going to do it by machine, and I'm going to do it that way, and I'm going to sew this in place all the way round. Okay, like that. Do we need, it's already half past, do I need to do it in 3 parts, or are you prepared to go through this? Right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to turn that over like that. This is going to come up and sit like that over it. Okay, so I'm just turning this over, and I'm going to sew this in place on the outside. All right, so I'm going to take this off. So I've taken off the bed, the shelf, what's it called? And I'm going to run my run the edge of my foot. I'm trying not to pull it too far down, but I want it to run so that you can see where the zip is. Okay, so I just run it along, readjust, and pull it down. Readjust. Now, I was talking to our Anne Davis about this on Tuesday, and she was saying some people have these like grommets that make holes. You know how we use cam snaps? Well, there's ones that you can do so that they make a hole, and you put in a, oh, I can't think what they'll put a metal or a plastic circle so that you end up with a protected hole. Now you could do that in the top instead of putting on the pocket like we've talked about. If you put holes in the top, you could put your ball of wool when you're travelling on it, so that your ball of wool comes out through the hole, which I thought was a rather clever idea. Not that I own any of those grommety things. I'm not quite sure why. I normally have all of the gadgets. For some reason, I didn't start at the back, which is a rookie mistake. So there we go. I've done back stitching, so I'm just going to chop that off there. Okay, so now we have that. It's an awful big hole. I'm really not happy about that. And I've got a little bit of a tuck right in the front. Look at that. Right, we are going to do the binding for the lid. Okay. Oh, ironing it the wrong way. Like that. Right, because I've ironed it the wrong way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to best press it, which will relax it enough that when I iron it the right way, it just, brilliant stuff, this breast press. I don't know whether you've used it. It's amazing. The starch is good for putting in stiffness into something. Using the best press makes it relax. It's just lovely. It smells good too. Okay. There we go. So we're going to do the same for the lid. All right. Now, you can work this out, and you could base that in place. You could put sticky tape. You don't want too many holes if you're using the vinyl. Okay, and we're going to put a strap. Now I've just used a piece of the one that I've the stuff that I've already quilted. I've just taken a piece of that. Okay, so I'm going to put that and base those into place, which will base my pocket bit in place as well. Okay, now this is worked out quite thick because it's already it's got wadding in it and everything, so it doesn't have to be this thick. It could just be I've just used fabric here. Okay, this is going to stick up more, which gives it a different look. So I'm just going to baste those into place and hope that Sarah's machine is going to play nice with me. So I'm just basting the pocket and the handle in place. I'll do it like that. Okay, that stayed. We're going to do the same on this side. Make sure that they stay in place while I put the binding on. Okay, so we've put So my pocket is staying put and my handle is there. All right, so we're now going to put this on. Yes, we put this on next. So that'll be the back. So again, I'm going to start a little further on, and we're just going to put this in. Now I'm going to try not to pull it too hard as I go round, because I think this one ended up too tight and it's pulled up. Okay, so we're going to try and do this gently. So, do you mean prim? Yes, prim. Yeah, the grommet things I haven't got, and which for me is very strange. Anybody will tell you I do like a gadget. I love my cam snaps. So I'm doing this at 1/4 of an inch. I'm taking it slow over the handle. And while I'm going round with the binding, it's putting the pocket, it's sewing that down as well, hopefully. The binding, I'm not pulling it tight enough. There's that fine line in there. So I don't know whether you noticed on the design wall behind me, you might have caught a sneak preview of Saturday's class. Sarah's doing a Sarah's sampler where she's written all the blocks. It's looking really pretty. This in place because it's easier to do it now. Right, I'm going to stop there so that we can do our little trick with the little trick. So I've done the pocket as I've gone along. It's going to need a bit of a trim because it has walked, because it's vinyl. Now you could use netting, you could by all means use the fabric that you're using, you know, put a bit of the outside one in. It's still going to be tight. It's still tight. Oh, you need to be really, really gentle with it as you're going round. Or make the lid, maybe make the lid a little bit bigger than the 7-inch. Maybe make it 7.5, so that if you end up with a bit of thing. This is a work in progress. You're here at the design wall. Okay, so we want to put our seam in there. So taking it to the back, fold it away, put in your crease, bring it round to there, and then put the crease in there. There's not too much left to do. Unfortunately, the last bit I would suggest doing by hand, which is sewing down this binding. So we're there, and we're just going to sew it across there. Okay, so I have taken that, and now I just need to sew that into place around there. Yeah, there's definitely that fine line between pulling it too tight and not tight enough. Okay. There we go. Okay. So we now need to attach this to this. Okay. So we're just going to sew it in place. Oh, hang on, I'm there. Right, we need to attach this to this now. Okay, so this is going to sit. You need to work out where your middle is. So we're going to put our straps together, and we know that our middle is just to one side of the binding thingy, so that's going to go there. Okay, so we now need to put that bit, need to make sure that it attaches to the, no we're not, we're doing it to the zip. You know, pull the zip up and you're attaching it to the zip. So we want that there. So you're going to make sure the zip is proud, and you're going to just attach it all the way around like that. Nearly there. Nearly there. Okay. So you're going to attach it like this. Up there. Like that. All the way around. There we go. Oop. Now, it might be easier if you undo your zip. So we're just attaching it to the zip. All right. There will be the gappage, but this binding is going to come over the raw edges, so you won't get any raw edges. Okay. So we're now going to attach that to the zip all the way around, and hope that it's going to go in. Okay, so if you undo your zip like that, you're able to do most of it, most of the sewing, without worrying about catching it. Okay, right, last bit, because you're not going to want to watch me sew it. I'm going to do it from the zip side. Okay, so I'm going to start there like that. Take that one off. Do it from the zip side. she says. Ow. And we're just attaching this to the zip. It might be easier sewing doing it the other side, but I want to keep an eye on catching the zip. Make sure my handles get out of the way. Let's open that up like that. Seems to have folded. That's all folded up. That's it. Just going along here now. This to that. I'm not sure whether I would suggest the pocket for your first one, but if you're only ever going to make one, then it might be something worth looking at. Right, I'm going to stop that there and then go from the other side. I was hoping that this would stay closer. So do I take it from, let's try it from the top. A lot of things that you've got to keep your fingers on to make sure that they're all in place. I'm trying to undo the zip. Undo the zip there. It'll give me that little bit more finger room. Okay. And the handle, I think my handle is a little thick. No, stop. Nearly there. fingers crossed that I haven't sewn over the zip in any way. Okay. Right. So my zip is now attached. Okay. What we will do then is you would bring your, oh look, I've sewn it down. Maybe such a tatted. Anyway, so who am I sewing? I'm completely right, I'm gonna have to unpick all of that. Plumberneck. So you're gonna bring this round and down over and hand stitch it. I would hand stitch it in place there. It's going to be very fiddly to do it by machine, so I think I would hand stitch it in place. And if you've sewn it nicely, there's plenty to bring down, but make sure you don't catch it, and make sure you don't wiggle right into the zip. Look at that. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Anyway, that is a nice little unfinished vanity case. It'd be quite cute to put toiletries or something in for people for when you're giving gifts, a little bit extra, isn't it? So yeah, so do what I say and not what I do. Be careful as you're doing your sewing. But yeah, I quite like the little thing. It does look good. I'm pleased. I'm gonna have to unpick it. Maybe up your stitch length as well a little bit. Some of those stitches are minute. They're going to be very difficult to unpick. But there you go. That's me done for today. 2 o'clock. It's another hour. I'm going to go and have my lunch now and finish putting up the wall of wool. It looks lush. There'll be somebody in this afternoon. I think our Shirley's going to be in this afternoon, and she's going to be buying bits out of that. She always does once I put it into the wall of wool. Have a lovely afternoon. Have a lovely weekend. If you're coming to do the classes, good. I'm glad, Marilyn. If you're coming to do the classes, then have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye.